Amolo Odinga is making certain moves that are really scary to the government. When he jetted into the country from Poland and graced the Kamkunji rally, he promised to deal with William Ruto. And among other things that he said is that they will be converging in Kamkunji on 7th of July this year to ensure that they chart a way forward on how to deal with this government that has continued to ignore the voices of the people. He also promised that he would initiate collection of 1 million signatures for future self-determination and self-rule, because he says that this government is hell-bent on causing pain to her citizens. So today Raila Amolo Odinga made good the threats, and it is reported that Raila collects signatures to overturn Ruto's policies. The Azimio coalition on Wednesday, June 28th, kick-started the process of self-determination as promised by its leader Raila Odinga. The former Prime Minister, alongside his co-principals on Tuesday, 27th June, threatened to collect 1 million signatures with the aim of overturning what the coalition termed as punitive policies from President William Ruto's government. So Raila has made good his threat. While speaking in Kamkunji on Tuesday, he told them that if push comes to shove, then they will give the people an opportunity to speak unequivocally and tell Ruto that they are not ready for the taxes. William Ruto ignored the voices of the people because the government conducted public participation on the matter of punitive taxes and the Finance Bill 2023. And people spoke on one accord that we don't want it. The deduction of 3% that they later reduced to 1.5%. No Kenyan said that they want you to reduce it to 1.5%. They were not ready for it. Because the idea of building houses is not bad, but the timing is really poor. Kenyans are really grappling with a myriad of economic challenges. So this time round, Raila is taking the war to the people. You know, in the first demonstrations, Rigathi Gachagua accused Raila Amolo Odinga that he was only hell-bent in interfering with business in Nairobi. And William Ruto accused Raila of trying to overturn a legitimate government that was elected by the people. Turns out that even the people they claim voted for them are now ready to go to the streets, because you have seen the calls for Raila Amolo Odinga to go back to the streets. And there's been a lot of contest. Some of the Raila followers are saying that Raila should now sit back so that the people who feel the pain, the people who have got hopes, who voted William Ruto and they had hopes that William Ruto would bring down the cost of living, should now take the front stage and lead the demonstrations. I have seen a certain choreographed message. William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza administration has launched social media bloggers, the Kenya Kwanza social media bloggers, and I have seen them saying that there's a picture of William Ruto in the villages and is in some maize plantation ready to harvest. In fact, the harvest looks bumper, and they're comparing, they're saying that while William Ruto was busy preparing the farm, Raila was on the streets, and now they're saying that William Ruto is about to harvest when Raila Amolo Odinga is running in the streets. And let me tell you something. People must know that Raila Amolo Odinga has nothing to lose in all this battle. Raila wants the people to get what they're supposed to get, because the president and the deputy, together with the cabinet and the entire Kenya Kwanza leadership, is paid and maintained by taxpayers' money. If Raila wanted, he would sit back and just say kila kitu iendelee. But Raila has the pain of the people. I like the fact that this time round, Raila is not talking about a stolen victory. Because when you talk about a stolen victory, the government has got a leeway to hoodwink the international community, to hoodwink their people that Raila is doing this for self-aggrandizement. This time round is about bringing down the cost of living. And William Ruto is guilty as charged. People spoke, people told him, people pleaded that we don't want these taxes. We had hope in Parliament because Parliament is supposed to exercise their democratic rights on our behalf. That's what the Constitution says, that we elect members of Parliament so that they vote on our behalf. We tell them what they're supposed to do. But what we saw was really ridiculous. We saw an executive that is trying to coerce the legislative arm of the government to dance to their tune, because William Ruto said before the voting that he wanted to see who had the guts to go against him. The message was choreographed around those who want to deny Kenyans a job, because William Ruto is saying that building of houses is going to create jobs. This is the reason why he abandoned the Kazi Mtani. But Parliament has failed us because they were bought and cajoled to vote in favor of these punitive taxes. And at this point in time, I want to salute the Githunguri Member of Parliament, Madam Muthoni Wamuchomba, for sitting and standing with the people on behalf of all the members who voted for the oppressed, who decided not to eat and dine with the oppressor. I salute, and I salute all of you, Madam Muthoni Wamuchomba. Having realized that we cannot depend on Parliament, Raila Odinga has decided, and let me tell you, this is a response to the calls by the people themselves, because democracy is about the people. So they called upon Raila and Azimio to go back to the streets. And this time round, Raila has responded. Now I want you to imagine 1 million signatures and 1 million people that will be there on Kamkunji, because Raila has said that the beginning of the mother of all demonstrations, the beginning of Unga Revolution is going to start on Kamkunji, just like it started on 7th of July 1990, when Kenyans were fighting the one-party state, the cruel hand of Nyayo. It is going to begin there. And let me remind you that it was worse then than it is today. But within only 1 year, in 1991, Moi bowed down to pressure and repealed Section 2A. And we were back to multipartism. A luta continua, and this time round, ladies and gentlemen, it seems Raila has changed the strategy and it is going to work for him. The reason why it's going to work for him is that the people are very ready. He has decided to focus on one thing. You know, during the first demonstration, people said that Raila had so many things that he wanted to follow. The Cherera 4, the cost of living, opening of the server, what have you. This time round, Raila has taken one battle that he's got no interest in. You see, like things like opening the server, one would argue that he had an interest and he wanted to overturn this legitimate government according to Rigathi Gachagua. Now this time round, we all know that Raila can afford the basic commodities and luxuries. He can take his members of the family to the best hospitals, and so Raila has nothing to lose in this. It is about the people, and that is why Raila is standing with them. So ladies and gentlemen, come 7th, we might just converge in Kamkunji with a list of 1 million signatures, and this will lead us to a situation where we will start discussing the issue of self-rule, an autonomous country. We will start a discussion of, if William Ruto feels that he won an election and he's got people who would want to follow him with the punitive taxes, then let him remain with him. And if there are people who feel that Ruto is not their president, or they voted for Ruto but Ruto has refused to listen to them, then we might start a discussion on a referendum. And let me tell you something, there is nothing that can stand on the way when people decide that we want to rule ourselves. That is the basics of democracy. A government of the people, by the people, for the people. We are in a situation where we have a government of Joe Biden and Americans. We have a government that does not listen to us. We have a government that ignores the voices of the people, because the last time I checked, people should be ruled the way they want to be ruled. Even if people voted for William Ruto, let's assume so, and gave him the powers, he's supposed to exercise those powers on our behalf. When we tell him that we don't want the taxes, he is supposed to listen to us, but he ignores us. He ignored us. This time round, we have people who are ready and very ready to go to the street. I want to leave you by this information that a certain man climbed on top of a police station protesting the high cost of living. This is a man who is dejected and has given up. So he went there just to show how difficult things are. And this shows you that people are very ready. So ladies and gentlemen, let people pen their signatures. We want to reach 1 million signatures so that we help people, because the cost of living is just too high, and we can only emancipate ourselves when we come together and we decide to stand firm and stop this government right on its track. I don't know what you think, but this is what I think will work for us.